Hi, and welcome to another Spectral Sevenths Setups. I have seen a few people asking questions online about generative piano apps. There really isn't anything that, there's a few things out there that sound really good in piano, and you can get some good melodies, but nothing to get a full kind of rock, folk, pop, piano, ballad kind of thing going that I'm aware of where you can really control it. So I thought I'd show you a simple setup that I've used to get this kind of thing going. What I have loaded here, you'll see, is simply the iPad microphone and D1. I'm using D1 because it's AU, just a simple acoustic piano patch. You could do the same thing with InterApp audio, but then you have to go into the MIDI menu. You have to go into the MIDI interface menu, and it's just slightly more confusing. So I have to make it really simple. The trick is using a couple of different MIDI apps in conjunction. For the sake of keeping this generative, I am going to start with Autzen E. Only thing with using Autzen E is you have to realize every time you open your project, you will have different notes. So if you like something, render it to wave or switch over to an app that doesn't generate different random notes every time you open it, like Atom or Stepbud. Now for this, I'm going to use a whole bar as a clock unit, and I'm going to set the gate length up high, up right at about 100%. I think I will do this in D major today. Just change the root to D. The scale is already in major, and I find it works a little better if I transpose this down 12 notes, which is one octave. It's still D. There's 12 notes in a chromatic scale, so that's just one octave lower. Now, so I have this running at about 43 beats per minute. It could do a little, this is all open to interpretation. I'm just trying to give you a guide here. I hit play here and run Autzen E into that, and that should get me a basic kind of low piano tone going. There we go. I do have that run through the piano enhancer and Korvpressor. Now, my secret app in this and getting some feel into it is Mozaic. I will open and now add Mozaic, and there is a really easy to use, very cool script someone made for that. I wish I had their name right here, called the Chordulator, and it plays chords with just one note entered. Since I'm in D major, I'm going to change my root here to D on the left side. Triad is just major minor chords, and I will run Autzen E into this by clicking here and then selecting Autzen E. From that, I can take Autzen E off of D1 and switch that to the Chordulator, or Mozaic as it shows up here. And then we'll get chords on every bar. Now, that doesn't sound real. I know it just sounds like someone slamming a chord on a piano. But it's going to get better, I promise. One thing, at this point, I like to add a little melodic substance, a generative substance. So I will use, in this case, I'm going to use Rozeta particles. If you have Rozeta, if you don't have Rozeta Suite, you should get it. It's just so much fun, and there's so many tools. And I will run, and I will then select that as well within D1. Now it's not even in the right key yet. Let's go to major and D, and that's really too low. You're going to need to take that pitch up. One thing you really need to change to do this right is the note range. 24 is pretty low, so I'm going to take that up to somewhere in the 50s, somewhere around the middle of the keyboard. Add a little more density or speed to it, so we get a few more notes going, and then change the quantize to, say, 16ths. And see, it's cutting out those notes really fast. We need more sustain, like you would use with the sustain pedal, so I'm going to bring that out to, I'll bring it out to a whole bar. This is all very open to interpretation, obviously. Speed, just adjust the speed and density until you get in the pitch range, until you get something melodic going you like. That's not bad. Now, I go back to Chordulator at this point, so we don't just hear like someone hitting a piano. There's a great feature here called Strum, which can emulate a piano player playing a flourish on his chord. Since there's 127 possibilities in the MIDI interval, I like to use divisions of 128. So we'll start with something like 16s to flourish up, and you'll hear that. Just a little flourish. You can make that longer if you want to get some jazzy chords. Take your triad and just turn this dial up to maybe 11th. Now it's starting to sound a little better. Now you can also get a little bit of randomness with your velocity and probability. If you don't want every note to play, maybe skip a few notes, turn that down a little. A little random velocity. That sounds pretty good. Now another option with the Strum feature is to use it as more like an arpeggio. If you bring this up to a higher interval, a higher value, like say 64, you'll get more kind of like an arpeggio going up. And you can take R all the way up to 127 if you want. Now something else I also do, another Rozeta app I use for this at times, just to give you another option here, is the Arpeggiator. It works great for this. Go down to select Rozeta Arpeggio, and I will run Chordulator into it. Let me turn the Strum pretty much off first. Select this, select Mozaic, and then I will change this from Chordulator to the Arpeggio. Maybe add another octave and change that to random. So many things you can interpret here. If you want a busier sound, you can change your clock division up to 8. I don't know, 4 is pretty good. Unless you want triplets, then you can do 6. If you wanted to, of course, you could always add the Mozaic back in, the little flourish. But you're going to get duplicate notes doing that. Another advantage of using Chordulator, and if you want to add that low octave bass where you see piano players with their left hand playing octaves, you can do that easily by turning this on. The bass minus 12. Now you have that extra low octave. I'm going to skip the arpeggio for now. And turn this up a little faster. So that's how I do it. And you can get that, this isn't, it's not Bach, but you can easily add some cool pretty piano parts to your music without ever playing a note on anything. Just want to give you guys an idea of how I've done it in the past. Another advantage of this, you could add a bass immediately right here. Say I want to pick up iFretless here. Change that, getting input from Chordulator, and then change the bass channel here. I'll say channel 9, and then within iFretless, turn off all the channels but 9. Now I have a cool little bass to go with it. Little acoustic stand-up bass, that easy. Well, anyway, I think that gives you guys an idea of how I've done this in the past. I hope a couple of you guys learned something from this and you can incorporate this into your own mixes. As you see, it doesn't take long. It doesn't take a whole lot to do it, and it sounds really pretty. Like I said, the secret there is the Mozaic script chordulator. You could substitute atom piano roll, step bud, even fugue machine for Autzen E if you want to keep a fixed chord progression going. This works major or minor. I could easily switch this. I can switch this to minor, change that to Aeolian, take this to minor, and it's minor. Well, this isn't minor yet. Minor. I like minor pentatonic for compatibility reasons. Applicable to any key, any style, change the tempo. You can also take this to half tones, get a little busier sound, half notes. Well, I think that's enough. It gives you guys an idea of a way to generate some pretty piano music. If you like it, click like, subscribe. I'll probably think of some. I'm thinking about doing something like this and then maybe adding some emulated acoustic guitar and just kind of building a whole acoustic track for you guys and showing how you can do it without actually playing an instrument, which is a strange thing to do for someone who plays 6 instruments, but I get fascinated by this. Tiny bit of music knowledge and an iPad, and you could do it all without an instrument. All right, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys around. Bye.